Welcome to the Cocky Gamers podcast from the Kennedy Greenhouse at the University of South Carolina. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Twitch at HighScoreHQ. I'm your host, Chris, and with me today is...
Matthew.
And Jordan.
So, how's everyone doing?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Tired but good.
Eh.
All right. Well, are there any games you're playing right now?
Nuclear Throne on PC.
Ooh.
It's a roguelike. Really hard, though.
Hard, okay.
Roguelikes.
I haven't heard about that one. I'll look it up. What about you?
I'm currently too busy to be playing video games right now.
Was there anything you're looking forward to playing?
Honestly, I just saw the demo for Scorn, and it looks amazing because it doesn't hold your hand through anything.
Oh, sweet.
There's no tutorials, there's no overlay. It's literally just you trying to figure out what you're doing and why you're there.
Awesome.
And it's like H.R. Geiger inspired.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, yesterday I saw on, I think it was Kotaku, a 22-minute trailer of a PT spiritual successor.
Ooh, what's it
It's
called?
not Year of the Ladybug. It's not Allison Road. I can't find it now, but it's heavily inspired by PT.
Ooh.
But I'm hardcore fiending for something like PT. It was so good, and then Konami sacked it because we need the pachinko machines. But let me see if I can find it. But I'm wanting something good, something scary. And Year of the Ladybug got turned into a comic book.
Yeah.
And Allison Road looks really cool, and I'm pretty sure it's not Allison Road because there's been no new Allison Road updates in like a year.
In a year.
Yeah.
You should look at Scorn, though, because that looks right up your
Is
alley.
that the one that looks like it's in a super underworldish,
Yeah, but like...
super gory?
Yeah, but the demo actually looks so much better than what you'd have thought.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen when they released the gameplay for it. It looks okay.
Yeah. Like, I was impressed, but it didn't, like, blow my mind.
Yeah.
But the demo blew my mind because of... I don't like hand-holding. I don't like tutorial levels. And I didn't play the demo. It was a, like... Is it like a publisher release where they give it to people to review?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. One of the guys who I watch on YouTube, he got a copy of the demo from the creators and played it, and he literally started off as a skinless man with a rock in his hand.
Yeah.
And it was a glowing orange rock, and it was like this weird creature thing that you can attach things to, and it becomes a weapon.
The game is
cool.
called Visage.
That.
It's PT-inspired,
I've heard of that.
PT-influenced first-person psychological horror game. And IGN dropped it like 3 days ago. 22-minute trailer, so I'm pretty
That's
stoked.
hype.
It's because I like the idea behind Scorn's really cool, but to me, it feels a little try-hard.
To me, I got the Doom vibe from it.
Well, see, I don't like Doom.
Gotcha.
I don't like the environment of Doom is cool, but it's like not what I want in a horror game.
I feel that.
I feel like it's just too much.
Well, with horror, people are usually very picky about it.
And I'm
Because-
queen of picky when it comes to horror.
I'm a little bit more lax about it because I'm like, is it going to scare me? Yes.
And that's the thing, is it gonna scare me? No, it's too hokey.
Well, yeah, this one I don't think will scare anyone.
Yeah.
It's more of a how cool is this environment and what am I doing?
Oh yeah, no, it's super cool, but it's just not what I'm looking for.
I got you. Still think maybe just look at it.
I'll look at it. But speaking of picky, I hate Skyrim. And my Skyrim hatred got worse because last week they announced their survival beta, and everyone's like, oh, survival in my Skyrim? Yes. And then it came out that it's part of the Creation Club, which is their paid mods.
Yeah.
$15 for something that they included in Fallout 4, that they've included since New Vegas. Can't talk about I don't know about the other Elder Scrolls games, but I know it was Hardcore was in New Vegas, Survival's in Fallout 4, you want me to pay $15 for something you've already implemented in a game that is old.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Like when Skyrim first came out, I was all up on that hype train. I bought myself 3 tickets on that train so I could relax, kind of thing. And You know, you buy 3 tickets, you guys stretch out on all the seats.
That's not how trains work, but okay.
Well, in Europe they were.
That's not how they work here, because you...
Well, not here, no.
You don't get assigned a seat. They tell you when you're punching your ticket, and you will... Grammy and I have sat away from each other before.
No, yeah, that's true. But just metaphorically.
Metaphorically, I got
tickets.
you. Also, the trains here are only 2 seats.
They are only 2 seats.
So...
In Europe, they're 4 because you got a little table for your food.
Oh, that's the dining carts.
Yeah, I love those.
But
so, anyways, trains.
But have you heard of Train Simulator?
I love it. But I was all up on Skyrim, and it was awesome playing through it because just Elder Scrolls is really good. Bethesda, I just really like their games. And then it's just, but now we're making it for this. Okay, but now it's going to be on this console.
Someone's actually made it for
Did
their...
you know we're going to make it on this console?
Someone's made it for their TI-84 calculator.
I'd play it.
I'm not mad.
I'd play
because
it.
it's not the good ones that are in color. It's like the old with the green screen and the black pixels.
Oh.
Someone made it playable on that. And I'm like, I
play it.
appreciate you.
See, that's the only, like, expansion of Skyrim I'd go for.
Calculator.
TI-84 edition.
Ba-boom. But I understand what they're doing with the Creation Club.
Yeah.
I would like to pay mod creators because Nexus does not allow you, as a mod creator, to put out your Patreon or your PayPal. It is in their terms of service. You cannot do that. So it's hard for people to give mod creators money. And, you know, some of them put hours.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's constantly on our Fallout mods, there's constantly roll calls for auditions for voice acting and, you know, hey, I'm doing DLC-sized expansions and mods, I need help. So I'd love to pay those people. But with the Creation Club, we're already seeing, when they first implemented their own mod system, which was the Bethesda launcher, which we had to go through the Bethesda library for mods, stolen mod after stolen mod after stolen mod, and Bethesda did nothing about it.
Yep.
Now we're seeing, the biggest issue that's happening is there's the Chinese stealth armor, and it was something you could get in Fallout 3. Well, a guy modded it into Fallout 4. Well, it's on the Creation Club now, and he's up in arms because he's like, well, that's my mod. And Bethesda's like, it's not your mod when we made it in Fallout 3 in the first place. So now it's this whole, like, because the Hellcat armor is in there too. So he's like, well, I modded them into Fallout 4. Why are you putting my mods up on the Creation Club? And they're like, but it's a mod of something of assets we had already made, so you shouldn't be making money off of it. But whoever put the mod up, I think Bethesda put the Hellcat and the Chinese stealth armor up. But it's like, with how poorly they monitored the library, I'm not sure if I can get behind the Creation Club. And they're expensive because it's not in straight dollar amounts, it's in credits.
I think with the whole issue between the guy who made the original mod and Bethesda themselves with the Creation Club, I think what they need to do is, if they're going to really go at this the right way, is to look at the codes.
Well, and see, the thing is, he doesn't own the assets to it because, like I said, he just pulled he retextured the assets from Fallout 3. So he has no right to complain.
That's true. I mean, it is their, that's such a weird subject.
Because he got called out on Twitter by, like, Pete Hines. He was like, it's not yours if we already made it and you just put it in another game. It's not yours.
That's true.
I get that.
Yeah.
It would be like if you took like a Mario sprite and put it in your own platform and
Right.
then called it your own. And it's like, well, you programmed it in there, but those were our assets.
Yeah, because there's, you know, I've seen Dovahkiin mods for Fallout 4. You don't own the Dovahkiin. Bethesda owns the Dovahkiin. Yeah. You know, Alduin and stuff like that. So that was the problem in the first place with their mods, was the mod community is really known for taking, you know what I like? I like Thomas the Tank Engine. You know what Thomas the Tank Engine should be? A dragon. So the mod community is overrun by copyrighted materials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're having to really go through the Creation Club, but I understand because they've tried paid mods before, and paid mods didn't work.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because I'm remembering the Savage wrestler.
Oh, Randy.
Randy Savage as the dragon. That's like my favorite thing. My favorite mod is him as a dragon. Oh my god.
But
that was great.
I don't know. it's that sticky situation where I want to pay the mod creators.
Yeah, because they do work hard.
They do, but like, and the Creation Club allows the mods to work with your game. So like, if I get a backpack mod that doesn't affect my achievements,
Yeah.
that's cool, but currency, I don't like that it's not straight dollar amounts. They're in weird coins, and they're going to start adding it, because it's not only in Fallout 4, it's in Skyrim Special Edition, which means how long until it's in Doom, how long until it's in Quake, Wolfenstein, because they've already shown they're becoming very greedy, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Is it their own, like, currency thing? You know, like how you'll put money in and you'll get...
X amount of coins?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it is.
BioWare's done the same thing. BioWare's doing the exact same thing. You can... It used to be you would go on to EA, because I love Dragon Age, so I would go on to like check out the expansions, and it would at first give you all the dollar amounts of what it was, and then all of a sudden there was an update for EA, and now it's like in this you can pay 5,000 EA coins, and I'm like,
correction,
but how much?
As of a day ago, they are putting out the survival mod for free for a limited time.
Does that
So
mean if
I
you
would like to
download it
correct
now,
myself. Yes, this was
so
updated.
it's free forever, and as long as you download it now.
Yeah,
But if you download it later, it's going to cost money.
because they're doing a beta test. They've launched the survival edition for free for a limited time. They don't know how long limited is going to be. So I don't know. It's one of those. I get it.
Yeah.
I do get it, but I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
Because
A little ridiculous.
the DLC was already kind of blasé to begin with in Fallout 4. So, I don't know, but
DLC even in Skyrim's kind of bum.
Chris Avalon, who helped in Fallout 2, he helped in the Fallout Bible, and he helped in New Vegas, posted a picture he doodled of the Vault Boy and a little stick figure of himself saying, "I missed you so much." So there might be hope. Fallout New Orleans, please, let Obsidian, please, because I need a redemption in my Fallout, because...
Ooh, I'd love to see, like, radiated hillbillies.
Well, that's already been done. That's already been done. It's been done in 3. It's been done in 4.
I don't remember it in 3.
Point Lookout.
Oh.
Yeah, Point Lookout.
I know, but...
No, they're...
With the creation of, like, when we got... Oh my gosh, the game's name, the one you love, horror game.
Horror game. Outlast.
Outlast 2?
Yeah.
With, like, the crazy religious hillbillies?
We're not gonna get something like that.
I know, but if we had
Fallout.
crazy, like, atom-loving hillbillies...
We already have that. It's in Point Lookout.
But they were irradiated, and they were like...
That's in Point Lookout.
know.
That's literally, you're describing Point Lookout.
Maybe, like,
because it's in
based on it.
Point Lookout's in a swamp.
Oh, yeah.
It's in a swamp on, like, I think in the coast of Maryland.
Yeah, it's just with Bethesda games.
And they're really creepy because they're in overalls, and one of them has like the one overall popped off, and he's like got one gigantic arm. Kind of, he reminds me of like the
I saw him.
the Thing in Left 4 Dead 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Yes.
So, incoming message from the big giant head.
Big giant head.
So, we have bringing up Point Lookout. So, not only were they like hillbillies in the middle of a swamp, but they also wore like Confederate hats.
Yeah, they did. They were like super hardcore hillbillies. That's why I'm like, I'm excited for New Orleans, but I want them to shy away from the hillbillies. I want voodoo.
Oh, voodoo would be cool, especially if they thought that everything was done like...
All mysticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be sick.
Has Fallout New Orleans been officially announced?
It hasn't been announced, but Obsidian, like about a year ago, right after
Leaked
Fallout
it.
4's release, they, on their Instagram, was like, oh, look at all these things. And it was like brochures and like travel guides and tickets to New Orleans.
Which is usually how they...
That's how they announce it. That's
They
how
do it,
they found out, people figured out Fallout 3 was getting filmed, because all of a sudden these Bethesda reps were going office building to office building going, hi, we're with a video game company and we're looking for like, just to like scope out the area. And people were like, They did the same thing with New Vegas, and they did the same thing with Fallout 4. All of a sudden, Bethesda reps were in Boston, and everyone's like, So I don't know Obsidian's current game list, but the only one I know that takes place in like real world areas is Fallout. So unless they're dropping a new IP, it's gonna be more than likely a Fallout game, and we haven't had a game really down south yet.
So guys,
Yes.
the going back off of Bethesda being in Boston, they weren't just in Boston. They were cited at MIT.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they
They
were.
were. Yeah, because they're not very good at being sneaky.
They're not.
Like, and especially because Bethesda's actually located right outside of DC. So when they were like, "Hi, we're a video game company scoping out DC," everyone's like, "Hi, Bethesda, you're right there. In fact,
You're
I
not sneaky.
would say that you're in Bethesda, Maryland. In fact, hi."
You know what I just thought of if they do New Orleans? Radiated crawfish.
We have stuff like that. They're in Far Harbor.
See, okay, Bethesda games with me, I just wander around until I find something cool.
Yeah, no, Far Harbor has like giant crawdads.
Yeah, there's.
And they're gigantic crawdads.
What if I make
And hermit crabs.
What if they make gumbo with Mirelurks?
They already have that. That's already a thing.
They
So-
done did it.
So my idea for a new Fallout, which is never gonna happen because they kind of already did it with Nuka World, I wanted them to go down to Florida and do like radioactive alligators, Disney World, like have like a monarchy out of Disney Castle. I thought that would be cool.
That would be cool.
What hasn't been radiated yet?
Actually, New Orleans would not be as irradiated as you think it would.
True, because it's a little bit away from everything, isn't it?
No.
No?
Swamps. The main point of the trees and the environment of a swamp is they clean out the water.
That's right.
So the trees would get irradiated, maybe a couple of animals, but a lot of the swamp area is not going to be super bad. And that's what you see in like Point Lookout is the things around the coast are kind of irradiated, but the closer you go into like the swampy area, you have more of the people are crazy, less of the animals being too bad. Like they're there just for like environmental purposes.
Gotcha.
But no, they've actually radiation in swamps mostly affects trees and like the plant life.
Oh.
Because that's the point of the trees is to clean out the water, so the further it goes inland, the cleaner it'll be. Ecology.
The more you know.
Everyone should take an ecology class. But when I was running a D&D style campaign for Fallout, I did New Orleans, and this was 3 years ago. It was before Fallout
your
4. Yeah,
non-existent
it was
watch.
before Fallout 4 was announced. I was running a campaign for New Orleans. Manatees were in it as a way to travel across the rivers and through the bayous and stuff. And then the alligators were in there. I don't like the gator claws in Fallout 4. They're just
Gator claws.
Nuka World.
Oh, I haven't played Nuka World.
Yeah, they're just blasé. They're just they're like alligators that stand up and just kind of slash and like bite, but they're not. The story's cool. A guy got trapped inside of Nuka World in the Animal Kingdom. That wasn't like the Savari Zone is what they called it, and they had animal replicating, and that's what he did to make food. But he accidentally crossbred like deathclaws and alligators because he needed something to protect them. And the gator claws like got out and like infested the area. They're
I need
just
something to protect myself. Let me take the most two dangerous things we got around.
It actually was working for a little while, and then I think they got hungry, and they turned on them.
When you don't feed your dangerous pets.
No, people stopped messing with Nuka World, so they gobbled everything up. So he was hungry, but neither here nor there. But
What about a
Hey,
Fallout
guys.
game in Alaska?
Anchorage.
We've already done that.
We already have that. It's a DLC for Fallout 3. It's
Operation Anchorage.
that's what it is, Operation Anchorage. I was trying to call it Point Anchorage, and I was like, it's not called Point Anchorage.
Yeah.
I haven't got through all the DLC in Fallout 3.
Oh, they're good. I'm not biased, but we've hit. The South is pretty much one of the few places we haven't really hit yet. Because what happened in the Fallout world is the states divided back up into basically 13 colonies again. So you have the South, you have like California, you have the Commonwealth up north, and then you like the Midwest is kind of all divided up. You have Hawaii and you have Alaska. So we've hit the West, we've hit California. We've been to California twice now, I believe. Is that right, James?
No, we've technically we've been twice.
Yeah.
But in Fallout New Vegas, technically you're dealing with the NCR.
You are dealing with the NCR, but we were in Nevada.
So in Fallout 3, the DLC, you actually go to Alaska in it? Have they gone to Hawaii yet?
No.
Dude, it'd be cool to go to Hawaii.
Tropical nuclear radiation?
I don't know.
I don't think it'd be affected at all.
I think Hawaii would kind of be boring. It would just be Hawaii.
Like DLC extra content, Fallout Hawaii, and it's really just someone on vacation.
Right, that's all you would do. You'd be like, I'm gonna get a coconut.
I think some of the most interesting mods I've seen for Fallout is where they go to other countries. I know there's one where they go to Russia.
Ooh.
That is cool.
A lot of people are interested in a Fallout in like Japan
Yeah.
or the United Kingdom.
China.
Yeah.
I've seen calls for England. I've seen calls for China. Because I would like to see the places that got the most devastated by the war
Yeah.
and go there. I was really happy when we got in Fallout 4, you can meet a Chinese submarine captain.
Ooh.
That was really cool.
That sounds really cool.
Because we see a little bit of the Chinese army, but we don't get enough to really know them.
Yeah.
So
Did Australia get hit?
I don't want to go to irradiated Australia. I'm
The
good.
spiders are already bigger.
Kangaroos
Those
are
radiated
scary.
Kangaroos.
It'd be worse than a death claw because they're already like jacked.
They're really jacked. Because that's what they do to mate, is their mating call is to get really beefy. Like, they, like, do
so they're bros.
kangaroo roids. They just get all beefy and they, like, fight each other and, like, box each other.
All right, guys.
All right.
So we've been going for about 20 minutes.
We are.
Let's talk about our very, very dear departed friend, Andrew House.
The CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment stepped down. He's been with them, from what I was reading, PlayStation 1, James?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
part of the
wow.
development of the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, and he helped with bringing the PlayStation 4 to popularity, right?
He became CEO in 2011, and he was responsible for the launch of the PS4. And according to an article by Verge, by the end of this fiscal year, the PS4 will reach sales of 78 million units.
Holy
Dang.
cow.
He has been with PlayStation for 27 years, and he's getting replaced by John Codera, who, I can't type, is also been with them for a while.
Yeah, John Codera, he's been around just as long as House has. Recently, he was the vice president, but he was basically in charge of PlayStation Network. He's the guy who, anytime something went wrong with PlayStation Network, he had to like do a press conference and explain to people, yeah, we're working on it. But yeah, he's now going to be in charge, which is kind of, I don't know, it makes me kind of scared because it makes me think that they're going to go away from physical distribution and start focusing on like digital sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's been with Sony since 1992, working in the portable audio business. Shout out to the Walkman. I carried mine everywhere. Played all of 12 songs on it. He saw PlayStation services like that James had said. I think that even includes PlayStation Now, which I've heard is not very good.
Yeah.
PlayStation Network, PlayStation Store, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, PlayStation View, PlayStation Video, and PlayStation Music. View is their TV service
Yeah.
that I've heard advertised, but from what I've heard from people on Reddit on PlayStation Now, it's where you're supposed to like, you know, EA access where you go and you like put in and you get the X amount of games on the library to play unlimited as long as you're paying on that subscription.
Yeah.
PlayStation Now is so busy, you get in a queue to download and play a game.
So PlayStation Now is actually, I wouldn't compare it to EA's system. I would compare it more to Netflix.
But
It's a game streaming system.
it is. But Xbox is doing the same thing, but from what I was reading on Reddit, Now they didn't fully figure it out before they launched it because people are having to get into queues to play the games.
Yeah, PlayStation has a habit of rushing things.
Does PlayStation have a habit of rushing things?
Yeah, because you think about it, they rushed out the Vita. They rushed out.
That's
the-
weird cell phone where instead of a keyboard you got a controller.
Yeah, they rushed out the PlayStation Move.
Shout out to the kid in my programming class who sits in class with that cell phone and plays PlayStation games with that cell phone. I don't know how he's kept it up to date, but he sits there on that
The-
phone.
The
Didn't they rush
PlayStation.
the PlayStation 3?
Did they rush the PlayStation 3, James?
No, because they didn't stop making PlayStation 2 games until 2013.
I remember that.
So what they did rush out was PlayStation VR
Yeah.
because they just slapped together a package with PlayStation Move, and by that time, PlayStation Move was like, what, 7 years old?
Yeah, and didn't go over too hot.
They've sold they've sold a lot of units.
Well, I just, personally, of all of those, like the Wii and the Move, I still think the Kinect was the best because I didn't have to have anything in my hand. And it's a shame that the Xbox One didn't go over so well because it had the best of all of those systems, because the Xbox One Kinect can actually tell your your heart rate and stuff.
So
Which is the
that's
camera?
that's a matter of opinion.
Dang.
Yes, it's a matter of opinion, but if I'm doing something, I don't want something in my hand, is more of what it is.
In my opinion, most motion controls are bad.
Oh, they are.
But if we're going to talk about what the best one is, the Wii was probably the best one in terms of actually working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
The
you played
Wii
with
was
the
very
Xbox
accurate.
One Kinect?
Well, Sam next to me is nodding her head yes, and she was like, it was terrible.
I liked mine.
See, the only thing I think the Kinect was good for, in my personal opinion, it was probably like party games, like
Party
Just
games,
Dance.
dance games.
See-
I used it for fitness.
See,
Yeah, I
that's
liked
what
it
I
for
think it works
fitness.
well for. In terms of actual, like, series and stuff, other
Yeah.
than the party games, I know on the Wii, motion controls worked really good for Pikmin. Surprisingly.
Well, and like the Wii, I couldn't play a sports game on the Kinect.
No.
That just would
Yeah.
not work. But as far as if I'm doing Just Dance, I don't want to have to wave a controller around. I would rather just slide and do my hands up, and I don't want to worry about the controller going this way, because I know, if I remember correctly, if the controller was out of your hand, it would actually kind of count against you if it fell.
Yeah.
So with the Xbox, I could just slide and raise my hands and move and not have to worry about a thing.
There was one game they made for the Kinect. I think they tried to make it a series, but it was so much fun. It was called Gunslinger.
Oh, I know what you're talking
And
about.
you
That was
literally
cool.
had to do finger guns and go pew, 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 pew,
See,
pew.
if I were to get a Switch, I want that 1-2 switch game. Where you one person has the blue controller, one person has the red, and you draw the gun and shoot. That sounds
It
so
shows your
fun.
angle and everything.
Yeah, it gets super precise.
It does.
And the
Yeah,
cow
they-
milking game.
Yeah, Nintendo's kind of on the ball whenever it comes to preciseness
Yeah.
with just the actual control stuff. Xbox is definitely ahead in terms of technology, but in terms of the actual, I don't know what to call it,
Hardware?
hardware. Yeah,
Yeah.
the actual hardware. Nintendo's always just been on the ball about trying to
Yeah.
not necessarily do the newest thing,
Yeah.
but kind of perfecting old technology.
And they always were there for you in creating things that people never thought of. For all the lonely kids like myself, they gave you a robot with the NES. And they're like, here, a robot.
A robot.
You don't remember the robot?
Rob?
Jordan, I didn't play Nintendo. I had an N64, and I had Pokemon Stadium 1 and Pokemon Stadium 2. You know what I
Alright.
did with it? Never played them. I played
Yeah.
the mini games, and then I eventually sold it in high school because it had collected dust. And I had a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance, and then a Game Boy, the flippy clamshell one.
Yeah.
And then I hadn't
Those
touched,
SP.
I hadn't looked at Nintendo until 2 years ago when I broke down and bought a 3DS XL.
No, I'm just saying it was a very popular memed thing.
Oh, not in my house.
I
We
think it
were
was
we were
Robbie the
PlayStation
Robot.
people at my house.
I think it was
no,
called
no.
Robbie the Robot, and it literally, how it played the games with you is you would place a controller in its little cartridge, and you would have the other controller for a 2-player game, and it would pick up these little discs and drop it on the correct buttons to play it with you.
So hey guys, so the name of the robot was Rob, R.O.B. and it had 2 games that came with it. It was released with the North American release of the NES because at the time Nintendo was scared of the video game crash of 1983.
Yep.
So they were trying to sell it not only as a home appliance, that's why they shaped it like a VCR. They were also trying to sell it to children, so that's why they paired it with a robot so the kids could play with their little robot friend.
If they were lonely.
Beautiful.
Also, Rob was in Brawl and Smash 4.
That's the little robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he
Rob.
looks like.
Yeah. No, we were PlayStation, and then we became PC people in my house. At some point we had an Xbox, but I never... Nintendo. Ugh, Nintendo. No, we had... The only PlayStation... I had a 1, I had a 2, and then it became Xbox from the... Instead of a 3, we got the Xbox.
Yeah.
I appreciate what PlayStation's done. They ain't got nothing that's selling me until Kojima comes out with his new game.
Yes.
Until then, like, Horizon Zero Dawn looks really great. Not gonna make me drop $300 on a console. Like, I already don't play my Xbox enough, and that was
Silent Hills.
Well, we're
They're
never
never
gonna
gonna
get
have it.
Silent Hills. We're gonna get Death Stranding, which I think is Kojima's I think it's supposed to be a Silent Hills-esque
Yeah.
thing.
It's just
He's working on
Silent
2.
Hills looks so
He's working on
good.
2 games for the PlayStation. 1 exclusive, 1 not exclusive.
Yeah.
So we may be getting our Whispering Mountains or whatever we want to call it. So, I don't know. I like a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right now, Square is my go-to, and they've stopped being exclusive to the PlayStation.
They
so
have.
Yeah.
I've got nothing. Halo is my life, and
I'm
Halo is
mostly
only
PC
Xbox.
at this point.
Yeah, PC
I am mostly
and
PC.
Nintendo, because Nintendo's really the only thing that's exclusive at this point.
Speaking of PC, do you play Dead by Daylight?
I've not played that yet. It's on my wish list, Sal.
Don't.
Don't?
There's a huge bug that they've had for months, where when they redo the competitive season, there's a 75% chance your whole entire game profile is gonna get erased.
Okay, off the wish list.
Yeah.
They dropped it for the consoles over the summer, and it was not even perfected on the PC. It's
Yeah.
buggy.
It's
It got
very
so
buggy.
bad. The only way you could play a game was on Russian servers.
Crazy.
We used to the only way we could play with it, all of our friends online was to go to random servers that would be desolate from other countries.
And even when you do Kill Your Friends, which is supposed to be local, there were times we couldn't connect to Kill Your Friends. It's gotten so bad, and they were like, we're gonna already release a console. The PC's not fixed. So for
the only good thing about it though, the villains are awesome.
No, I'm really mad because they introduced Leatherface.
Well,
Leatherface
there's a
is
character
the
already-
hillbilly already.
There's a character called the Hillbilly that's already
He can. They were like,
Leatherface.
Leatherface has a chainsaw and a hammer. Yeah, so does the hillbilly. They even look similar because the hillbilly's face is really messed up and scarred, and it looks like Leatherface. And now they're dropping Leatherface for like $10. The hillbilly comes standard free in the game.
That's crazy.
So it's just it was a good idea, and they dropped the ball hard
They
because
did.
my friend got his game wiped for the 3rd time.
Crystal,
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is the hillbilly from one of the greatest film franchises of all time?
Nope. He's not.
What?
Okay, so it's Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yes.
I know, but I feel like they could have picked any other classic horror character because his moveset is identical to the hillbilly. People are gonna buy him because people have bought every single thing Dead by Daylight has dropped. But I felt like it was a very poor choice because that's already a pre-existing character. Down to the weapon set and the move set, that's already a character that existed in the game.
There's a lot of interesting horror characters they could have done. There's
Right.
so many.
They've done a lot of really, really cool ones too.
Like, Freddy Krueger would have been cool.
I was about
Freddy
to say,
Krueger
they
would've been
haven't
awesome.
done that yet?
No, they've done Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done Michael Myers. Although you do get a special, because you have the survivors that you play as, and then there's one person who plays the villain. You can actually play as his sister, as a survivor that comes in the bonus thing, and you do hear the.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And they just, they have a new character called the Huntress, and she sings the whole time. And so instead of your heartbeat racing, her singing gets louder.
Dang.
It's really,
they
really
have
cool.
Voodoo Girl there, and each killer has their own.
I'm sorry, the Leatherface is $4.
Oh.
$5 on the Xbox One.
But each killer has their own really cool after they kill someone they wipe off the blood on their weapon or something. And so sometimes it'd be if they have a machete, they'll wipe it off with their hand or wipe it on their pants leg. The Voodoo Girl, she has giant claws that she'll cut into you.
Leatherface
and
also
then she
does
drips
not-
the blood into her mouth.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's
Leatherface
really
does
cool.
not come with a survivor. Because every killer usually gets matched up with a survivor. who matches because they have
A storyline.
There's actually stories
Yeah.
to each character and each killer, and they usually get matched up together. Leatherface has no survivor, so I don't know what they're doing with that because is there an extra survivor? No, because
No.
Nia, Michael, Huntress, the Doctor. I don't remember if the Doctor had a.
Doctor.
The Doctor was blasé.
There's a nurse, but is there a...
Yeah, there's a Doctor now.
Oh.
He was expensive.
Ew. Oh, yeah, I only get the free ones.
No, the Doctor is he's broken. He's like he was a doctor who practiced shock therapy.
Oh.
So he like uses like electricity and stuff. It was a really cool game and it was not implemented well. Because I think Freddy Krueger would have been cool.
You know who would be cool to be put in that game? The Collector.
Oh, that would be really cool. It's a horror movie where it's this guy, he puts on this black leather mask. It's kind of like a suggestive mask.
Yep,
And he will, like, doesn't he collect organs?
No, he collects people.
That's right, he collects people. And he'll, like, go and hunt them down.
Interesting.
What about it?
Oh, Pennywise. That'd be cool.
That would be me dropping the game and never picking it up again. I hate clowns. You want to freak me out? You give me a game with a clown. That like
It's like two of her biggest fears. It's a clown that is an alien spider.
that's like I'm done. That's it. I can't. I don't care for Until Dawn too much. But their VR game, their VR like expansion to Until Dawn, is in a rundown haunted house attraction with like clowns and stuff. That'll spook me. Because Until Dawn was just not very scary. It was jump scares, but not anything. I like psychological.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, when the Wendigo popped out and it looked like Gollum,
It did
I
look like Gollum.
stopped taking it seriously. The only good scare I got watching, and I judge how scared I am based off of watching other people play it, and if I actually get like freaked out, I'll get super freaked out playing. The only time I got like spooked was when they opened that kitchen cabinet and like the raccoon pops out.
Yep.
That was, I was
That
like,
was the
oh.
bathroom.
It was, I just
Because we were
remember.
going to get deodorant.
That's right, and they opened it up and there was like raccoon. That was it. And I was like, this is not a scary game.
And I don't think it was a raccoon. I think it was a...
Possum?
No, it was, oh my god, what was it? It was actually like a kind of almost dangerous creature.
I thought it was like a fluffy thing that could have had rabies. I'm pretty sure it was a raccoon.
I don't know.
Because possums usually don't like fly at your face, but a raccoon will attack you.
Well, I think it was more so like when they opened it up, it got scared because it got found.
Right,
it-
possums just fall over dead.
Was it a
That's true.
rabbit?
No, I know it wasn't a rabbit.
Because like if it's a rabbit, they might be referencing Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It wasn't that. It was like I'm pretty sure it was a raccoon.
Was it a ferret?
Until dawn. Ferrets are vicious.
Ferrets are
Until
vicious.
Dawn.
They're like tiny noodles of terror.
Animal in cabinet. Wow, I can't type. It was a squirrel.
What?
Was it?
What? Wow, I can't type.
Oh no, they're talking about there's a scene where you have the ability to shoot a squirrel.
I thought it was a bird.
There's 2 times.
Oh, okay.
The bird you throw a snowball at, the squirrel is one you can kill, I think.
Grab the deodorant in the cupboard. It spoop ya. The end. I don't know. I don't care. I just. Let's see. Deodorant. Okay.
Yeah, because they mention what animal it is.
It's.
So hey guys,
I don't know.
Yes.
so you know we've been going about like 32 minutes. So I know. So I think that we are going to. I'm going to ask y'all a question real quick, and y'all are going to discuss about it. So you know it's October. It is. It is the month of horror. So if Hollywood and the video game industry love them some reboots, what is a horror franchise that you would love to see rebooted?
Let me talk to you.
You have a limited time because there's 3 of us.
Oh, I know. All right, so
No dissertations, Jordan.
no, I'm not gonna give a dissertation. I just love horror. So we've already got It that's been rebooted.
Uh-huh.
We've already had a Halloween reboot, which Rob Zombie.
We're getting
Beautiful.
another Halloween reboot.
Is it by Rob Zombie?
No.
Oh, never mind. Won't
It's
see it.
no, I talked to you about it. It's about
wait.
it's by oh god, he's the guy in Pineapple Express.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
James Franco?
No. He was the Danny McBride.
That's it.
Yeah, he's doing it.
I would really like kind of how Rob Zombie did it with Halloween. I'd really like a Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
My thing with Nightmare on Elm Street, because we've had a reboot,
We have.
it's hard to make that a serious. It's so campy,
It
and
is.
people can't do the camp right.
You know who really did good camp? Was the remake of Evil Dead. The remake of Evil Dead
Okay.
gets a lot of crap, but
I like the Evil Dead. I just people lose the camp,
They
and
do.
I want the camp. That's a very campy horror movie.
they kept the camp in the remake.
I didn't like the remake.
I liked it. I especially liked.
Well, I also just don't care for Nightmare. I don't.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of a weird thing to enjoy. Another one I'd like to see get redone, and
Can I say something about Nightmare on Elm Street real quick?
yes,
So, for me, I would never want Nightmare on Elm Street to be touched because as I grew up with those films,
True.
and the best two films are the first film and the third film.
Amen.
Everything after that ain't really worth anything. And 2 looks like it was made for television. It's
Yeah.
literally on like a stage. It looks real bad. And the third one is really cool because it's called Dream Warriors, and it's about like they're in a mental institution,
Ooh.
and it's about the girl from the first one. She's a psychiatrist there, and she's trying to help these kids with their fear of Freddy Krueger, and she teaches them how to fight back inside their dreams.
Oh, I like that.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it's real cool, and it's got that classic like 80s like soundtrack, the iconic scene of like Freddy playing puppet master on somebody by their veins. That's from that film.
Oh, that's cool. See, it's films like that I'm having such a hard time with because I Spit on Your Grave got remade, and I hated the remake. I hated it because I Spit on Your Grave. There's certain movies that came from that time era that shouldn't be touched because it's such a product of its era.
Yeah.
And
Is that one we can discuss the plot of?
No, we cannot discuss the plot
I
of
thought
that.
that was the one we couldn't talk about.
I will say for the audience listening in, watching right now, well, not right, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But if you do want to check out I Spit on Your Grave, it is very violent,
It's very graphic.
very graphic. I would give it a shot if you really like revenge movies. It's a great revenge movie. It's graphic, but the revenge that they do in it is well worth it.
Yeah, if you
Oh
can't
my
handle
gosh.
certain things that are in Game of Thrones, I wouldn't bother.
Oh, yeah,
with
it's-
Game
of Thrones is-
that's about where we're stopping with
Game
that.
of Thrones is like PG compared to
Yeah, that's
the original I Spit on Your
that's where
Grave.
we're stopping at that.
Alright, but I would kind of like, because I don't think we've had a Friday the 13th remake. I don't think we have.
Huh? I thought we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We
They
did?
had the guy from Supernatural in it.
When was this?
That was that was the one I went to at prom, and it had. I want another House of Wax. I enjoyed House of
Yes.
Wax, but okay.
Ooh, I'd really like another House of a Thousand Corpses. Like if Rob Zombie came back and
No,
like remade
no,
it.
leave it.
I know it's
perfection.
so good. I know it's really good. But his movies just keep getting better
All right.
and better.
I want an Eternal Darkness remake.
For a game, yes.
I really want an Eternal Darkness remake.
But they need to keep that one scare in there. I literally flipped my
I've never
couch.
played it. I want to.
There's a scare that's not even with the story. It has nothing to do with the story. It's just do you know what Eternal Darkness is about? Yeah, so when you're wandering the house before you go into one of those like flashback moments, there is just a random jump scare that scared the bejesus out of me.
Got you.
I was sitting on the couch, it was late at night, and I'm inspecting everything because I'm that type of player that inspects every inch of a place. So I'm going into the bathroom and you click on the tub and it just shoots up these flashing images of a dead naked girl in the tub covered in blood.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Listen. School.
School, sorry. Of a dead woman in a tub.
There we go.
Here we go. But it was a dead woman in a tub, and the way they did it scared me so much that I like jumped back and knocked over the couch.
I think that game also has the most frustrating thing that ever happened in a game for me. It's up there with the Psycho Mantis fight in Metal Gear Solid. There's a part where if your insanity meter goes up too high, the screen goes blue and it gives you a blue screen of death. And then you're just sitting there going, what happened? What's going on? And you're like running around trying to figure out what happened. And if you just leave it there, it fixes itself.
That freaked me out so hard in PT when your game restarts in the middle of it, and it like gives you this error message, and then you're at the beginning again. I was like, excuse me. I want, and I know they're working on it, and it's not really horror, but I think of this guy when it comes to Halloween. Mm-hmm. I want a good Crow remake.
Ooh, yes.
Because I didn't mind the original Crow. We don't talk about City of Angels. And then the third one after that. Because there's like 3 or 4 Crow movies. They're supposed to be remaking it true to the comic. That's all I want. Because you don't really get the full grasp of why he's so vengeful and why he came back until you read the comic. And it's a thing we can't talk about, but it makes sense when you read the comic why he's so angry and comes back.
Yeah.
So
I know another game I really want remade. Or at least an HD remastered version.
Dead Space?
Rule of Rose.
You and your Rule of Rose.
I love Rule of Rose. It is a PlayStation 2 game that is super rare. I can't talk about the content of the story behind it.
Yeah.
I can give a brief glimpse of it because it's a girl who had a traumatic experience happen to her, and she had to go to an orphanage. And it's basically her reliving her memories from this orphanage and how she viewed it as a child. So the things that she was going on with mentally represent themselves in the creatures she has to fight. It's really cool. The subjects are really dark. It's definitely a scary game, but it's more psychologically scary. But the combat in it was terrible. The combat hands down was terrible. But it got banned in a ton of countries.
So, Matt, anything that you would like to see rebooted
Come on, you have a couch.
horror-wise?
I mean, I don't really want any classic horror films touched because most of those I'm kind of fine with how they are. And anything that I like enough, I definitely wouldn't want it touched. In terms of games, maybe if they could manage to do Silent Hill 1 or 2 justice with their, because I think they did Silent Hill original like an HD version. But
Didn't you hear they remade it as pachinko machines?
They did. No, there is
Get
a Silent
your
Hill 2
pachinko
Silent Hill
in.
3 HD remastered set. It
Yeah,
was from-
she's
Yeah.
got
I've
them.
got it. It actually ruins it. Because the whole reason with Silent Hill, why they have fog is because they realized that if they decreased the ratio where the people can view everything, they can make the graphics a lot better and make it scarier. So they especially did that with the limitations in PlayStation 2 with Silent Hill 2. So when they rebooted it with the HD remastered set, you can actually see where like lines purposely end, but the view line goes way farther.
Yeah. Sometimes
I wanted to
HD
keep-
remasters are not good because I have the Master Chief collection. It actually, the remaster actually makes the original Halo harder because of how much detail they put into the grass. You lose items. But if you because unless it's a cutscene, you can switch in between. So my friend and I will switch between the graphic setting, and then we'll be standing in front of something, and the HD will be on, and you can't see anything. We switch it off. Up there's a thing. There's a thing right in front of my face.
See, I'd want those remade in HD, but to keep all the fog and like keep just kind of up the textures and stuff.
Would
of
you
the
want a
monster.
remaster or a remake?
I think a remake.
Maybe either, I don't know, maybe a remaster, but still keeping the fog in there.
Yeah.
Because I think
a
the
lot
fog
of the
was definitely a big part
Yeah.
of Silent Hill 1 and 2.
They would have to like completely overhaul it because that was one of the with the older games, the limitations actually are really hard to replicate in new engines.
Yeah.
Because I have Fallout 1, my CPU runs too fast. So I can go across the map without ever having a random encounter. So a guy did a speed run of all of the Fallout games, and because he's playing on a fast computer, you can make it across the map in like 2 minutes without having a
Dang.
random encounter. So the limitations actually are really hard to replicate. You have to slow your CPU down. You can't slow a CPU down to make the game run right. So I can't get the full like grasp of like Fallout because I have too good of a computer.
Yeah.
I gotta like bring out a Windows 95 and maybe play it. So I don't know. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think a remake would be cooler because they'd be able to work with the max settings of the fog and be able to manipulate it so that it still
Right.
could look it. Because the remaster, you just saw the end of where the screen before it loaded.
Yeah, because like a full remaster would be, at least from what I've seen from like Halo and stuff like that. I think if given back to Kojima
Yes.
with his new, I don't remember what his new studio is called, but if he gave it to his new studio, had the same PT people working on it, I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Because like, I just love PT so
So-
much.
Silent Hill's just my ish.
So, Kojima's new studio is Kojima Productions.
Okay.
And for me, I think a great franchise that needs to be rebooted is another Konami franchise. And it has been mistreated for so long. I would love to see it done one of two ways. So I would either want to see it redone as like a Dark Souls clone,
Ooh.
or I would love to see like a horror take on it. And that franchise is Castlevania.
Yes. I'm all aboard that.
So pretty much none of these are gonna happen.
No.
Because Konami likes pachinko.
Pachinko machines make so much money, guys. Pachinko machines.
We'll get a great
Pachinko machines, though.
We'll get a great
That's
remake
every
of
board meeting. in
Well, like
Konami.
I understand why they did the pachinko machines. I do, but as a business model, that was really dumb.
Yep.
That
How
was
long will
like,
pachinko machines last.
well, they're actually to last a while because the reason they moved to pachinko machines is video gambling became legal in Japan, which is why they went on the super pachinko machine thing.
And Pachinko was already popular.
Konami is a huge brand in Japan, so they went and like made pachinko machines. So now you have Konami gambling, and people are like, "Yes, I will in fact play pachinko," but it's just they've messed Kojima up and what they could do. And
Poor Kojima.
I think.
though to be fair, this is probably karma because I've heard he is the worst person to ever work for.
Probably.
Like, a friend of mine had a friend who left his life in America to go work for Kojima and stayed for like 2 months before he moved back because Kojima is the worst person in the industry to work for. Like, he's terrible. He expects you to live your life by his word. If you are not doing exactly what Kojima tells you to do, you're gonna have a hard time.
Well, people like that, there's a lot of stories I've heard about that with like animating.
Yeah.
The person is so known and so high in their field and talent for creating story and creating games, they don't want anyone to make it have a smudge on their record.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, John Crifalusi is the same way. He had a record of never using the same facial expression more than once in a cartoon. So, no one could make the same facial expression.
Yeah.
He actually would watch over all of his animators and like make sure none of them made the same face.
Yeah.
Or you'd get like the adult.
Yeah. It's
Like for a full season, or like for all the seasons, or
I'm
how long
not
was
sure.
the series?
I expect like with Ren and Stimpy, he did it like per episode.
yeah.
I was gonna
So-
Because
say
they
that's-
make similar faces.
They do make similar faces between the episodes, but his like animating rule was to always keep the expressions changing. That was like one of his main rules.
But like,
so I guess like with him, like he's made such amazing titles.
well,
and
and
games.
he very much lives by like the there is a stereotype with, you know, Japanese businessmen that your life is devoted to the business. That is what they got experienced. He was like, he stayed in Japan for like, he up and moved to Japan, and his life lived with Kojima basically. So he had no time to himself. It was Kojima 24/7, to the point where after like 2 or 3 months of being in Japan, he moved back.
Yeah.
Because he could not take it.
See, that's not. I don't even think that's a stereo. That's just kind of the culture over there.
Yeah.
So, coming from America, going over there, they're bound to just move back unless they're ready to accept.
Yeah.
Because every business, Nintendo's like that. Because I know back in the day, especially, people had to stay in the company overnight and pretty much live there. Like
Yeah.
the original Pokemon game, that's what happened. Everybody
yeah.
had to like live in the office to
Well,
work
see,
on the game.
The Japanese studios treat their people better than the American studios.
Yeah.
Metro, I think it was Metro, the new Metro game that came out, they were having to make the game with no electricity in their building. They were told if they didn't want to lose their job, they had to make the game even though they had no electricity. There were times the studio had no electricity, no water, no nothing. They had horrible conditions to work in, and they were told, here's pen and paper, make your game. So,
That's just terrible.
the AAA studios are just, their heads are too big.
They are.
But they run everything. Thanks, Activision Blizzard King. They own King now. Did you know Blizzard owns King? Candy Crush.
Oh my gosh.
They literally are the largest console developer, the largest PC developer, and the largest mobile game developer. Activision Blizzard runs everything.
I love Blizzard still.
I know you love Blizzard. We had an incident today that happened at Gambrel Hall, and I would just like to say to anyone out there, if you are going through anything, depression, suicidal thoughts, you're not alone. I experience it myself. My parents have experienced it. My friends have experienced it. So there are options and there are ways to get help. We've got the suicide hotline. If you ever feel the need, please, it's 800-273-8255, 24/7. You're not alone and your life is not, you're more precious than you think you are. We have counseling and psychiatry on campus. There's Department of Mental Health is
There's
on a
always free counseling. We have people that specialize in depression, in suicidal tendencies, and in getting medication that you need. Even if you don't want to take medication, we have people that will talk to you, and it will be completely anonymous and completely free for the first 10 visits. And the 10 visits can make a world of difference.
Take it from someone who's been through that. And the Department of Mental Health will go on a sliding pay scale. So if you don't have a job, they can bump you down to as little as $10 a visit. Like,
they are there to help you and to get you safe.
So,
so
if
please
you
consider that if you have anything,
thoughts. Like, talk to somebody and don't keep it to yourself. Even telling a friend makes a world of difference.
It does.
So,
we're here for you. We love you. From here at High Score Headquarters.
Yep. I'm Chris.
I'm Matthew.
And I'm Jordan.
Thanks for joining us. Hope we'll start on a better note next week. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap.
I was trying.
I know. That's why I took over for a little bit.
I was trying so hard.